What is happening here? What? It's crazy. Is today Hurricane Andrew Day? I feel like, did it make landfall on the 23rd? Am I wrong? Is memory serving, or was it the 24th? I can't remember. Either way, we're in late August, and that's just crazy in and of itself. It feels nice and warm outside, but at least it is beautiful. Taking a live look outside on our Tower Cam network, you see the folks coming on to the beaches. There in New Smyrna Beach, our Tower Cam shot there looking good. The surf not too bad, though I will tell you, with an onshore wind component, we are going to be dealing with some rip currents today. So just keep that in mind if you've got plans to be out and about. All right, first warning, live Doppler radar. Some interference there on the left side. On the right side, you got a couple of showers out over the Gulf Stream, but that's not bothering us. Okay, give me a minute. These temperatures are obviously fakakta, which means that one of my scripts is not running correctly. Give me a second to fix that. Oh, boy. Yeah, all right. Fixing that. Wow, there's like 1,000 versions of Excel running. Oh, wow. That computer is dead. All right, I'm going to fix it. Give me a minute. I did not realize that beforehand. Freeze count. Interesting. Sorry, people. Bad TV, I know. But I got to fix the computer. And why does it keep crashing? All right, I think we're good now. So okay, it's the intensity. It's the intensity stuff that's crashing it. Okay. It's the intensity stuff that's because of all the invests and storms dead. Okay, all right, I know how to fix that. Give me just a minute. I think we're good. I can fix this. It never fails though, right? Documents, 5-minute obs, running. That 91 in Orlando should change here in a second. Boy. It's connecting to the data store. It's thinking. Okay, well, while it's thinking, good morning, everybody. I'm just going to watch this. I'm on the server that goes to get the data. And it's struggling. Okay, let me retry that again. The remote procedure call failed. Oh, why are you throwing me curveballs this morning? I'm going to try it one more time. Loading .NET framework. And then we're going to do our thing. Yukon says, the fun of live coffee talk. You're working at it well. Thank you. I'm just trying to, obviously it's not 91 in Orlando, so this just... probably faster to reboot. You're right, except Marquise is on the air right now, and I don't want to hose the guy. Yeah. Okay. Well, while that's doing its thing, we're just going to chat. Good morning to you. How you doing? Are you doing okay? I hope you're having a great morning. At least weather-wise, we're doing okay. This morning, nice and dry. It is warm. You can see the temperatures on the bottom of your screen are correct because that's hourly data. It's the 5-minute data that's dead because of API calls and things. So that's fine. We'll get that fixed quick, fast, and in a jiffy. But that's the way it goes. It's hot already, Vicky says. I loaded the car with stuff to donate, and it's very humid. That's correct. So no matter what your plans are today, the good news is that we are looking at showers and thunder showers staying away from us. I think that we're going to be doing just fine weather-wise today. We're looking at high temperatures running in the low to mid-90s, okay, and a relatively low-end chance. A quick passing shower is about all you're going to get. All right, so here's, the kind of forecast for today. Keeps us pretty dry. East-northeast breeze. We're looking great, feeling great, but up to 94 degrees this afternoon. So it's going to be a toasty day. It's going to be a toasty day. Bill says, don't need a computer. It's going to be hot. That's correct, my friend. Yep. I would tend to agree with you there. All right, I'm going to give it the old college try again here. No, I want to remove the files. Okay. Down documents, 5-minute obs. Let's try you now. Connecting to data source. I did the old log off, log back in thing. We'll see if that fixes it at all. Let's watch and see together. If the computer's completely fakakta, then there's... Why are you taking so long, though? Like, this is a pretty simple... Unless I bet you that website's down or something. Like, that's probably what we're looking at. Is it? All right. Either way, I'm going to have some work to do after the fact. National Weather Service. That's fine. 5-minute raw. That website's down. That's exactly what the problem is. I'm clicking on it on my web browser and it's not working. Okay, so that's what's crashing the computer. First time for everything. All right, there it is. That's fine. We shall move on. So again, today, all right, so we're just going to move on. So today, a couple of passing showers, not a big deal. We'll be okay. Ann says, well, just talk to us. Yeah, that's where we're at. All right, so high temperatures today look like this. 94 in Orlando, 95 in Leesburg, 95 in Claremont, 96 in the Villages, 89 to 90 from Daytona Beach back over to New Smyrna Beach. So it's a toasty, toasty forecast. Let's take a look at Futurecast together. Just making sure. All right, just making sure that Marquise wasn't texting any issues there. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast together. Since at least I now have diagnosed where the issue is, and that's fine. So I'll have to turn off the 5-minute observations until that website gets back up and running. All right, so here's Futurecast, and we are looking great. Couple of coastal showers, perhaps, and then into the afternoon, you can see particularly kind of the Four Corners and the beaches may see a few showers, and then particularly out west in the beaches. So the metro looks to be pretty dry. There's 7 o'clock, 8, 9 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, a couple of showers around. So today we're not looking at a bunch of rainfall. I think your best coverage of rain is going to be kind of east and west. The metro is pretty low in terms of today's rain chances. Good times. Canned air and a fresh battery, Carol's saying. What's canned air and a fresh battery? Deb says, all of my friends in other states, aren't I nervous about the hurricane season? Nah, Deb, we got each other. We're good to go. We're good to go, son. So just a couple passing showers. Yeah, not too bad. We do get some darker skies at times, but rain chances are going to be relatively low. Michael's asking about the Cruise 7 launch. Aha, yes. Cruise 7 launch. Listen, I'm already starting to mentally and emotionally make my sleep changes to get ready for this early launch. So let's talk. So today's Wednesday. Usually I work. Won't be working today. Tomorrow I go into work at 5 or 6 p.m. And we're going to do some 10 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news, overnight. It's literally, if you've never been to the Kennedy Space Center, it's like a tailgating vibe where everybody's hanging out together doing their thing. And then at 3:30-ish, something like that, you're going to do a cut-in, watch a rocket launch, and watch 4 souls climb to the International Space Station. It doesn't get much cooler than that. And I'm going to have nerd coverage. So the game plan is getting out there about 7-ish or so. So I'll probably do a 9 p.m. Facebook broadcast thing from the weather lab. And then we'll do the 10 o'clock news, the 11 o'clock news, and then maybe around midnight, 1 a.m., if you're up and you care, I'll do another broadcast, something like that. Yeah. Yukon says, dang, that's going to be a crazy shift. Sounds like a hurricane shift. Listen, if there's one thing that anybody that wants to get into TV should know, and I tell this to every single one of my interns, your schedule is going to suck. And, you know, it's funny. I was talking to my mother yesterday, and she's like, well, everybody has to pay their dues. And I'm just like, I've been in television now 22 years. I've been with my company now for 17 years. If I have not yet paid my dues, I mean, I get it. I'm gonna be working hard. I get it. I will never. I want to get there's a sign that I want to put on my wall that says nobody cares. Work harder. I'm stealing this from a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Turner. But I love it. Nobody cares. Work harder. I will always work harder. I will always push my tush harder. But I'd like to think at this point I've paid my dues. Doesn't mean I'm going to work any less. Doesn't mean I'm going to have any less of a commitment to work. But I'd like to think I've paid my dues. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy. Bill says, LMAO, your schedule going to suck. I tell every intern, and I've had interns that are like, I just don't want to do weekends anymore. And I'm like, I've been in television 22 years. I'm almost 40. I have 2 kids, and I work weekends. But I digress. So anyway, yes, schedule's going to stink. It is what it is. Plus, you love the space stuff. You'll be awake anyway, Michael says. Yeah, I love the space stuff. And I can get paid to do it, then I'll get paid to do it. You know? Yeah. Brian, I saw a blurb from Facebook yesterday. Something about Wesh has now even more extra extended news coverage, and more times than news coverage have been added. Can you please go over that? Because I couldn't find the post again. Yes. We're adding a 7 p.m. newscast with Tony doing the weather, Stu anchoring, and Michelle Imparato anchoring. So more news, baby. Yeah, I think it's from 7 to 7:30. So just more opportunities to keep you updated on the day's news headlines and weather forecast information, brand new model data coming in. So yeah, Wesh is expanding. Ann says you should have seniority now and tell them no more weekends. It's not exactly the way television works. Chris points out, wait until you're retired and really have to pay your dues. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yukon, I worked retail for 25 years. Yeah, you work weekends. It's funny how the folks who want 24-hour world but don't want to work a 24-hour world, especially. That's the thing. Like, we work in jobs that are not 9 to 5. So when you work weekends, it is what it is, and it stinks. But you got to do what you got to do, son. 22 years in television, 20 of those years I've worked weekends. There are 2 years that I did not work weekends. That's it. David's asking, is it on Wesh 2 or CW? I believe it's on Wesh 2. I believe our 7 o'clock newscast is on Channel 2. Yeah, I'm like 85 to 90% sure that's the case. Which I'll be doing the night shift next week. We don't have that newscast yet, but I'll be with you on nights Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So, all right. So weather forecast locally pretty quiet. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast together, and then we can move on and take a look at some of the tropics together. Sound good? Yeah. Linda says, you paid your dues. Retirement is great. Listen, I have a pension and a 401k. I am working my tookus off for that. For sure. Julian, 22 years in television. Is this your first Cat 6? Oh, boy. Christine, you are my favorite weather guy. You and Dennis Phillips over here in Tampa Bay. I only listen to you two. Well, thank you. Dennis, good man. What is it, rule number 6? Rule number 7? I love it. Tom, working for Disney, weekends and holidays are always on the table. And television's the same way. There is a we never close sign on, you know? That's the way it goes. Right? Teresa, husband worked weekends and holidays for the first 20 plus years of our marriage as a restaurant manager. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah. John, I'm 51, work produce at Publix, and work every weekend. Right? The weather doesn't. Yeah, Pam's right. The weather doesn't. I even had some interns that are like, but I have vacation. What do you mean that I might have to work? And I'm like, if there's a hurricane coming, you're going to have to work. But what about vacation? I remember there was one year Tony Manolfi canceled two, three, four vacations because of hurricane coverage. And that man's like 900 years old. Just kidding. He's not 900 years old. But you get the point, right? And I think that that's what's so great about Tony is that he will, excuse me, he will never shy away from doing what is needed, not only for the job, but for the betterment of the team. He leads by example. And he's a knucklehead, don't get me wrong. But he's our knucklehead. And I think that that speaks volumes of his character, you know? James, why do you have to do Tony like that? It's my love language. I do it to his face. I mean, granted, he's probably not watching Coffee Talk, but if he were to call my phone and I put him on speakerphone, I would. This is the way he and I go at each other. Tony's like my super, super older, annoying stepbrother. You know? Okay, all right. Enough about local, enough about making fun of people. Y'all ready to talk some Tropics? Tony's no baloney. Yeah, dude pretty much lets you know where he stands, and you got to respect that. All right, to the Tropics we go, friends. There are a few areas to monitor. So you got Harold there, first off, crossing into Mexico, and we'll eventually, and I think that Harold is such an interesting storm. We'll start on the left and work our way to the right, okay? So you got Harold. Forecast cone for Harold. Over Mexico, we'll pass south of El Paso, Las Cruces, and then eventually go back into like the desert southwest Friday, Saturday. Like, could even eventually work back over to California, which they absolutely do not need. Yeah. So that's one of those things. All right. Elsewhere in the tropics, of course, we've got, let's go back to the wide shot. All right, so you got Harold on the left in the Texas-Mexico border. Then you've got Tropical Storm Franklin. Let's take a look at Franklin, kind of sitting out there over the Caribbean, bringing some real decent convection to the Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's really not great for them. We take a look at the radar imagery, and remember, we don't have radar over the Dominican Republic and Haiti. We don't have radar over Jamaica. We don't have radar over Cuba. So the data that you're getting here is going to be from the United States radars. But, you know, just from Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rico radar, you can very clearly see a swath of rain, big, heavy stuff, and certainly that's not ideal. Now, let's look at the forecast cone for Tropical Storm Franklin, okay? Because it will be lifting to the northeast, and then kind of a bit of a northwesterly jog. The models were originally trying to paint this as more of a outside of Bermuda situation, but it's kind of looking more like it's going to be an inside of Bermuda situation. And the question is, and we'll look at the models, just how close to the eastern seaboard does it get? Las Cruces, that's way south of Las Cruces. Correct, Chris. It is. It's going to pass away. Chris, why not? Do those countries not have radars? So Cuba does. I've never seen Dominican Republic or Haiti radar. I know Cuba has several radars, but it gets into licensing. I could tell you, it's funny. Back when I used to fly, I landed on, I want to say it was Grand Bahama Island. And as I'm landing, I see a big Doppler radar there. And I went into the FBO and I was like, hey, where's this radar data? I'd love to get access to it to show on weather graphics. And he's like, that thing hasn't worked in years. They, believe it or not, the Bahamas use satellite and National Weather Service Melbourne, National Weather Service Miami radar. So I've seen Cuba radar. You can get to that on the web, but I've never seen Dominican Republic. I've never seen Haiti. I've never seen Jamaica radar. So I think I've seen a Cayman radar. I mean, think about it. These things are very expensive, though. You're talking $1 million. I mean, heck, just our radar at WESH, all you see, and then I'll go back to the tropics here in a second, but all you see on TV is this sweep, right? That's our radar. National Weather Service has their Melbourne radar, Tampa radar, Jacksonville radar, and there's even an Orlando International Airport radar for flights coming and going. But we have our own live radar. This is our live radar. If I were to zoom into the dome on the computer, it's actually positioned at the studio, and we have full access to it. Right? Yeah. It's obviously big for detail, but like that's the WESH studio. So that thing we recently put in almost 7 figures just in upgrading it to get it back to, to get it to be technologically top of the line. These things are not cheap. And to me, that's an investment in what our company does. But moreover, that's why a lot of these islands don't have them. So anyway, that's why we don't have radar access to many places. But as Franklin continues to lift, we do think Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, it starts to find some opportunity to strengthen, becoming a hurricane. That would make it the second hurricane of the season. But you can very clearly see the computer model consensus. Most of the models are kind of tied west of Bermuda, but there are still some that are kind of trying to do east. Bottom line is, this is not looking to be a threat to the United States. This is, though, I think, the Carolina part of the weather pattern. Yeah. Chris says if the Earth was flat, we'd only need one radar. Right? Love that. John, what's that radar-looking thing in Kissimmee, Buenaventura Lakes area? That's the Orlando International Airport terminal Doppler radar. You used to be able to see it from the 417, yeah. Don't lie to all the viewers not from the area. The radar is really that big. That's too funny. Yeah. Terry, your hair looks normal today. It was kind of reddish the past few days. Could be just the camera, the iris. It's on auto iris. Listen, this is Facebook, not broadcast TV, so the quality that we have, this is all fully self-funded. I'm running it on my personal computer at home with my personal webcam that I just updated. It was a 720. Coffee Talk used to be 720, and now we're full 1920 by 1080. I upgraded the webcam, upgraded all the stuff. Yeah. Spared no expense for you. I'm not complaining that WESH didn't invest in it, but that's what it is. It's my personal computer, so it's on auto iris and all that stuff. All right. So anyway, so that's where we're at with Franklin, and then of course we look at the rest of the tropics. And we've got a couple of other areas. First off, you've got in yellow there, you've got Invest 92, and then in red, you've got the remnants of Emily. So let's talk a little bit about that. There's the remnants of Emily, looking a little decent at the moment, right? We're thinking that it could regenerate into a tropical system. It's a 50. So these numbers are wrong. Marquise, did he update them? Oh, he did. I just needed to refresh. All right. A 50 and 70% likelihood that this gets regenerated. It would keep the name Emily, by the way. All right. So we've got that. That was Emily. It won't add another name to the list. And then further out behind that, Invest 92 has a low 10% chance of development over the next couple of days and a low 30% chance of development over the next couple of days. So there you go. Can we talk about that possible something for the West Coast Panhandle coming? Yes, Carol, we'll look at the models for sure. Yep. Takes money to make money, my friend. Oh, yeah. Listen, the station invests in our weather tools. There's no doubt that it's a business and we can't spend completely frivolously. But when our radar was starting to age and it was hitting end of life and there were parts that we just couldn't replace because the radar was installed in 95 or 96. It's the first live radar in Central Florida. We needed to invest in it. And Hearst Television, our parent company, did that. And I'm proud to say that we maximize on this thing. We really, we have, through this upgrade process, we have learned how to use it in new levels. And with the new technology, we are able to do things we could never do before. So I'm really grateful to have a company that supports us. Truthfully. Okay, let's look at the models. This is the GFS 6Z run, raw model data. So right off the bat, let me just rewind it. That purple area, that's Franklin, lifting to the north, getting a little weaker, and then kind of hanging out, dilly-dallying, and then bombing out, like getting stronger, 971, 968. So getting stronger. And you can see that dot there to the right of it, that's Bermuda. So at least according to the GFS, it's going to kind of dance around Bermuda. All right, lifting to the north. And then right there, look in the Gulf of Mexico, like a little dot, nothing much, but like a little dot right there, right there. That little dot's something. Oh, this is funny. This shows how big of a nerd you are, Yukon. Heck, that radar predates Hearst's ownership of the station. That's correct. Impressive that you know that. Yeah, when Pulitzer owned WESH, what they did in that day and age in the 90s, Pulitzer put a live radar at every station. And I could tell you that some of the stations that had live radars no longer needed it. Their meteorologists did not utilize them. Ashlyn, thank you for picking up the reference. You have to use the tool, and you have to understand its full potential. Some of our stations did not, so some of the stations' radars were sunset. I just worked on a project with our sister station WYFF up in the Carolinas. Got them the radar updates that we got at WESH. Yeah, they are rocking it and rolling it too. So it's really great. So anyway, Beverly, I'm not so interested in the tech. My phone is only going to get so much. The detailed information and instruction you give is invaluable. And thank you. I will always try to earn that level of respect. I will always try to do it. All right. Well, WESH has always had true meteorologists versus weather folks. Yeah, they've always prioritized, even going back before Hearst. I mean, Dave Marsh, if I recall, was the first true chief meteorologist in the Orlando market. And our coffee talk chat with Dave a couple of months ago was pretty darn cool, if you ask me. So, all right, so there's that little Carolina thing, right, in the Big Bend. Doesn't look like much, but the GFS is showing it. Then high pressure builds in. Look at that, bombing it as it moves away. And that's the GFS report for now. That's all you got. All right, so that's the GFS. Let's switch over. Let's look at the Euro. Oh, for goodness sake. European model. Oceanic. Caribbean. Okay. There goes Franklin. I mean, the euro is deepening it pretty quickly, frankly. 967, there it goes. And then, you know, as Franklin's doing its thing, like there's the 31st. There's nothing along an old front terribly organized. But there's like that Carolina, there's the West Coast low kind of cruising through. And that's it for that. Yeah, so let's, Canadian. There goes Franklin. There's a CAG low. Interestingly, the Canadians got a CAG firing up in the Caribbean and then lifting up to the north. Now that does line up, but what you've got... Hold on, it's Marquise. Marquise doing the morning show for the first time. Once you do it 90 times, it hits, but it's knowing what is coming differently. That's what I wanted. Cool. Marquise is doing the morning show for the first time, and the morning show is a squirrely bird. So just he and I have been chatting back and forth to make sure that he's good and understands. All right, so you've got Franklin there on the right, a little CAG or Central American gyre kind of firing up, a little area of low pressure. We know using our cycling forecast methods that there should be a feature in the Gulf next week. Now, the Canadian's definitely strong, and there's an earlier... I mean, I like the 12Z run kind of showing something weaker up north. The current run, 0Z, shows something stronger earlier. I don't know if I believe that. If we look at the GFS, for example, current run has something very weak in the panhandle. We go back a model run, and it's got like nothing. Maybe late. Yeah, it's got a really little nothing. Let's go back to I haven't seen the 18Z. So there's Franklin, and then a little something around like Louisiana, and then and there goes the Carolinas. So I think if I'm honest, I think the Canadian's on the right note, but I think it's too strong and it's too early. But either way, after Franklin, like looking at late next week into next weekend, watch the Gulf of Mexico for sure. All right, the BSR is showing it. The LRC gave us a heads up on it, so I think we definitely need to watch. All right, so there's Franklin. There's the ensemble members of Franklin on the right, and then we kind of start to see some ensemble members there in the Gulf. Right? So there are some GFS ensemble members showing that, and I think that lines up perfectly, right? Not a ton, but there are some. Trying to figure it out. So that's the GFS. Back it up. Let's switch over to the European. There go all the Franklin ensembles, and then there's the European ensembles throwing some noise. It's going to be a homegrown thing. Like, you're going to be looking Sunday into Monday, the Western Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to start to watch for some sort of development, something, right? And then stuff coming after that. Let's look at the Canadian. There goes Franklin, and there's your ensemble support for the Gulf. So seriously, look to next week, look to next week for Gulf of Mexico type development, Caribbean / Gulf of Mexico development. We don't know quite what it is, but there's definitely indications of that. Okay? That's kind of where we're at right now. All right. Euro ensemble, Kathy says CMC showing something off the west coast of Florida. Yeah, yep, exactly. Yukon, good old Danny Trainer wasn't a Met and don't remember who was on 6. It was Leslie Gale, not Leslie Gale. It was, oh my God, who was on 6? What was her name? God, she was on for forever. I could see her. Not Leslie Gale. She anchored there, but oh my gosh, I cannot remember. Help me, people. John, I'm amazing. Graphics and tools expert along with patience and expertise to teach all about the weather, even in your own time. The Wesh team and Raider. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Listen, as I've said, like Marquise is a new guy. Got to make sure he's good and comfortable. And his success is our success. Tony Manolfi taught me that. Wisdom. I hate to admit that Tony Manolfi gave wisdom. Hate it. Oh, man. All right. How long did it take to become the meteorologist you are today? I mean, I went to school for years, and I've spent 22 years in the business at this point. Thank you. Yes, Yukon. Pamela Brady. Thank you. I knew, I was like, it started with a P, and I couldn't remember. Pamela Brady. Yes, I remember watching her. Yep. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns about the tropics or anything? Julian, OMG, I'm taking a college class with Dave Cocciarella. I heard he was at Wesh. He still works with us, yes. And I'm proud to say I'm the guy that got Dave Cocciarella to work at Wesh. because I watched him back in the day on another 24-hour local news station and thought Dave Cocciarella was the dude. The dude. I mean, Pamela Brady, I think, was the first true Met on 6, but I don't think she was a Met. I'm almost positive she was not a Met. She was great on the air, but I don't think she was a Met. Was Marquise on that free local station before Wesh? Marquise was on the Weather Channel local. I don't know what it's called, but it's the Weather Channel local. Whatever, Local Now, I think it's called. That's where Marquise was before. Was Weather Channel Local Now. Yeah, Local Now, Julian. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Yeah, he was on Local Now, and we snagged him right up. I remember when he interviewed, just Tony Manolfi nerding out because Manolfi used to work at the Weather Channel doing, I believe it was radio. I always say Tony has a face for radio. Oh, speaking of Tony. Tony just checking in. All right, that's all I got for you, y'all. Today, 94 degrees, 40% coverage of showers and thunder showers. All right? All right. Listen, be the sunshine in someone else's day. I'll see you at 3:30 today. Does that work? Does that work? All right, sounds good. Take care, y'all. See you later. Bye.